Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So this is another book review. This is the this is book 3, 4, and 5 of the books that I have read so far this month, as this is a 3-book trilogy review. The the books that I will be reviewing is from the Key Trilogy by Nora Roberts. Book 1, Key of Light. Book 2, Key of Knowledge, and Book 3, Key of Valor. So I will read the short synopsis of each one and then just kind of do an overall book review, as these stories really are interlinked and it's kind of hard to separate them once you get into them. So, synopsis for Key of Light. The Mallory Price life plan does not include a quest, but the strangers on Warrior's Peak claim that she must find a key that will release 3 souls held captive by an evil god. Little does she know that the quest will bring her 2 new friends, the love of her life and a danger beyond anyone's imagination. Synopsis for Key of Knowledge, which is book 2. To Dana Steele, books and the knowledge they hold are the key to contentment. But now that search for knowledge must include the second key. She won't be alone, for she's formed fast friends with 2 very different women. She can't allow herself to be distracted by the return of the man who broke her heart so long ago, for a danger beyond anyone's imagination is determined to keep her from completing her quest. And synopsis for Book 3, Key of Valor. Light and knowledge have succeeded in their quest, and 2 of their keys have been found. The final and last test goes to Zoe McCourt, Valor. Zoe has the courage to raise her young son alone and to face all the adversity life has thrown at them. But will she have the courage to face a foe determined to do anything to stop the third key from being found, even destroying everything and everyone she loves? So, to sum it up, this is a trilogy about basically strength, love, truth. It is a story about friendship, about family, about love. It also has some very typical elements, good versus evil, good winning, that kind of thing. Again, I'll try not to give too many spoilers, but so to sum it up, basically, these 3 women are chosen to be a part of a quest. There is an ever-growing battle, or an ever-ending battle that goes on in another world, or as they like to describe it, behind the curtain, where gods and goddesses roam. And there was similar story to Hercules and those kinds of mythological stories where a god fell in love with a mortal, and in this case the mortal wasn't, or rather the god wasn't allowed to leave his realm to be with her, and so the immortals made, or the gods made, an exception and allowed the mortal to come behind the curtain to be with that person, or to be with the god. So that decision threw the world into chaos, basically dividing the entire community into 2 halves. One who agreed with the situation and are okay with it, and the one side that didn't, which causes a lot of wars and a lot of never-ending battles to go on between the 2. It resulted in a future generation. They have children, and now these children have been placed in danger. They are half mortal, half god, and their souls end up being captive by an evil god and stored away, trying to wreak havoc on the world. And that invokes a timeline and rules. And so the story is that only mortals can find these keys and release the goddesses that have been trapped. So the keepers of the keys and the guardians of the girls have been tasked with the lifelong, never-ending task of finding those mortals who can release the girls and put everything back to rights. So that is kind of the basis idea behind it all. And then each book focuses primarily around one particular key, or one particular woman who is destined to find a particular key. And the hurdles and challenges she has to go through in order to find the key. And as you go through the challenge or go through the story, you end up realizing that each key represents something that they have to overcome personally. It's not just, a scavenger hunt of find this, trip over this, read this, do this math question, and you've got the key. It's more about facing your fears and going through your history and figuring out your past, resolving issues, facing current events, current problems, dealing with them, and then being brave enough to step forward, getting past all those things and embracing your future. And every single girl or every single woman has to go through that. And each one is difficult in their own right. And they all have different personalities and end up having to face different things at different times. But the one common denominator that ends up being a constant throughout the story is the evil god and his relentless pursuit in trying to stop them. And he does everything from creating hallucinations to invading their dreams, trying to provoke them in any way possible he can think of to prevent them from achieving their task, as each girl has a very small timeline in which to accomplish this. And it's a story that I have read before. This is definitely a reread for me. But I had read it quite a few years ago. And it's one that I really enjoyed then, and I have really rather enjoyed now. There is romance in every single one, as love does become part of the story. But it's just kind of part of the story. It's not done distasteful. It's not just thrown in for the sake of thrown in. It's nicely mixed in, and it's part of the story. And a necessary part of the story. It's what leads toward finding the keys and discovering what it is they have to figure out. Some of it's easy and some of it's not. But in this particular story, and that's one of the reasons why I enjoy these stories, is the fact that there's a lot of love, there's a lot of friendship, there's a lot of kinship, connection, family bonds, friend bonds. There's a lot of connections that get made, and I enjoy it thoroughly. So for me, this would be a 5 out of 5 star read, and I would recommend it to anybody who enjoys a good story with a little bit of mystery, a little bit of magic, a little bit of mythological side benefits to it. A good love story, and it's very short and to the point. I don't find the books to be overly long, so nothing is overly drawn out. It's all very to the point, very descriptive, but again, to the point. So definitely one I would highly recommend to anybody who would be interested in something like that. So I thank you again for listening in, and for all those of you who may be new to my channel, I encourage you to like, share, and subscribe, and to check out my past videos. For any of you who are current subscribers and supporters, I greatly appreciate your support, and I will see you all in the next video.